All right. Good afternoon, and good morning and good evening, depending on where you are around the globe. This is Kevin Wayne Johnson. I am with the Johnson Leadership Group as the founder and the chief executive. And I want to welcome you to Success Fest 21. And we want to welcome you to this particular course, Becoming a Person of Influence. Now, you'll be able to follow along on the PowerPoint, and you'll also be able to follow along with the course materials that we have for you there as well. So on that note, I am going to go ahead and bring up the PowerPoint, and we're going to dive right in as we have an opportunity to learn all about what it means to be a person of influence. And here's your takeaway, and here's what I want you to finish at the end of this session. I want you to learn these strategies and principles that will definitely help you and launch you toward being a positive influence in the lives of others. We're going to cover just the first two sessions there in your participant guide and in your workbook. And you can just follow along, fill in the blanks at your leisure. You'll have an opportunity to really gather some good information that will send you on your way, because it really doesn't matter whether you're frontline, mid-level, or senior level within your organization, your church, your nonprofit, even in the academic space. But what matters is being able to influence people, getting them to participate, to contribute, and to get involved, because leadership is influence. That's what we're taught. That's what we believe, and that's what it's all about. And there in your workbook, just fill in the blanks and you'll follow right along with us, because what we're going to cover is the fact that as your influence increases, so does your ability to lead other people in terms of how you influence. So as your influence increases, your ability to lead other people increases as well. So we want to help you to have a much better understanding of influence, and we want you to be able to increase your influence with others. Now, here is a couple of questions for you to consider as we go throughout our time together. And the question is, who do you influence? Now, that's a very appropriate question to think about your personal and your professional development. And there in your workbook, you have an opportunity to look at this particular principle. And the principle is that as a leader, I attract who I am, not who I want. As a leader, I attract who I am and not who I want. And I'm going to ask you to take just a minute and jot down your top 3 characteristics of a person that you want on your team. For Kevin Johnson, it would be character, honesty, and integrity. So we're going to ask you to write down your 3. What would you say are your top 3 characteristics of a person that you want on your team? Just go ahead and write it down right there in your participant guide. And there you'll also see on the very next page in your guide at the very top, I want you to take a few minutes to just think about the types of people that you currently influence, or the type of people that you are apt to or gifted to or shaped to influence. Would they be leaders or followers, thinkers or doers, big picture or little picture people, and go all the way down to the very bottom where it says eagles or turkeys. And do your best just to circle one of the 2 options. Don't circle both, but who are you more apt to influence, and or who do you currently influence? Go through all of those different areas: positive or negative people, insecure or secure people, successful or unsuccessful people. What are your thoughts? Take your time and fill that out. And then the other thing that I would like for you to think about, and that's also question number 2 in your guide, is who do you influence? How do you influence? That's number 2. How do you influence? And the principle here is how I influence people will determine how many, how long and how effectively I influence them. How many, how long, and how effectively. Because there are really 7 different ways that we influence people. And let's take a quick look at those from worst to first. By force, not so good. By intimidation, not much better. By manipulation, well, when you do that, someone loses, although someone wins. By position, by exchange, you see eye-to-eye contact now and a handshake. We're looking at worst to first. By persuasion, and ultimately, the best way to influence others is through respect. So that ends our time together in terms of module number 1. And I wanted to let you know that we will be back with you for module number 2, and we'll pick up right where we left off. This is Kevin Wayne Johnson. See you next time.